Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Devonte Adams requests trade, 8 potential landing spots for Raiders star receiver. Could Devonte Adams be traded? It suddenly feels like a stronger possibility. Trade talk around the Las Vegas Raiders receiver has heated up in the past few days, with NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo reporting Tuesday that Adams has informed the team that his preference is to be moved elsewhere. Whether that ends up happening remains to be seen. But if the Raiders are indeed willing and ready to move on from the 6-time Pro Bowler, there should be no shortage of potential suitors available. Adams' contract carries a $13.5 million salary cap hit for this season if he was traded this week, and that number would drop by approximately $968,000 with each week that passes prior to the November 5 trade deadline. According to Over the Cap, Adams has 2 years remaining on his deal after this season, but his 2025 and 2026 seasons, at $36.25 million apiece, are non-guaranteed. Here are some of the teams that make the most sense if an Adams trade comes together. The obvious connections run deep. Aaron Rodgers and Adams forged a great relationship in Green Bay, where he was Rodgers' top weapon for many years. Jets offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett was on some of those Packers teams, too, so it's not hard to imagine how he might fit in. The Jets had been rumored to be interested in acquiring Adams since the day Rodgers landed in New York, so this is no stretch at all. The chemistry between Rodgers and Garrett Wilson is a work in progress. The same holds true for Mike Williams, who also carries a significant injury history. Jets tight ends have only 15 catches through 4 games, so adding another weapon to a passing game that ranks in the bottom half of the NFL makes perfect sense. After deciding to run it back this season with Rodgers, the Jets still have the cap space to make it happen, and as long as the asking price isn't too high, they should be at the front of the line of bidders. They also have additional 3rd and 6th round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft, giving the Jets ample ammunition to make it happen. Taco over TJ, Jerry Jones reacts to Cowboys' all-time worst draft decision. The Dallas Cowboys have been mercilessly hammered through the years for infamously passing on Randy Moss in the 1998 NFL Draft to instead select Greg Ellis. And this season, their decision to not sign Derrick Henry has raised eyebrows and prompted ridicule. But on Sunday in Pittsburgh, they'll again be reminded on a personnel blunder worse than those two combined. Taco Charlton over TJ Watt. Sure, Moss had a Hall of Fame career, but Ellis was an 11-year starter who made a Pro Bowl for the Cowboys. Henry is leading the league in rushing, but he is a 30-year-old running back with high mileage on the tires. There is zero defense of the mistake Dallas made in 2017 by drafting Charlton 28th, 2 spots before the Steelers nabbed Watt at 30th. Bottom line, Watt has been the anchor of the Steelers' defense for 7 years and is headed for the Hall of Fame. Charlton was cut after 2 underwhelming seasons and currently plays for the Birmingham Stallions of the United Football League. If he gets to Dak Prescott Sunday, Watt will record his 100th career sack. With the Cowboys, Taco recorded 4. Surely Jones laments one of the worst personnel decisions in franchise history. Or, maybe not. I do, but I don't, Jones said on his weekly 105.3 The Fan radio show when asked if he regrets not drafting Watt. There are so many players that you could have drafted. It's not the ones you don't have, it's the ones you have that you worry about. For every Watt, there's 10 others that haven't done as well. Maybe. But the Watt whiff is further magnified this week. While he will again be a force for the Steelers, Charlton is long gone from a Cowboys pass rush, now trying to fill voids of injured stars DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. Though the Cowboys' buck obviously starts and stops with Jones, he had plenty of help in passing on Watt. It was former defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli who preferred a 4-3 scheme and was worried that Watt, whom he saw as more of a linebacker than defensive end, didn't have the size, 6'4", 250 pounds, to hold up against the run as well as Charlton, 6'6", 275. With one of the more relentless motors in NFL history, what has been to 6 Pro Bowls, made All-Pro 4 times, was Defensive Player of the Year in 2021 with a record-tying 22.5 sacks, and has led the league in sacks 3 times. Taco made 7 starts in Dallas before bouncing around 4 more teams. He last played in the NFL for the Chicago Bears in 2022. Jones said the Cowboys will scour other teams' practice squads to sign temporary depth along the defensive line. He confirmed that Lawrence will not need surgery on his foot, and he called Parsons week to week with an ankle sprain. Cowboys urged to add former number 4 pick by ex-Dallas star, would be a dog. Given the state of the Cowboys' offense, Dallas is really in no place to scoff at anything these days. So maybe the team should take some advice from former Dallas star Dez Bryant and find a way to bring in languishing Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts, a player whose production in 4 NFL seasons does not appear to match his natural ability. Pitts, the number 4 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft out of Florida, was a Pro Bowler as a rookie, when he logged 68 catches and totaled 1,026 yards while playing for offensive-minded coach Arthur Smith and catching passes from polished, though 36-year-old, Matt Ryan. Pitts went awry from there, though, flailing with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder at the quarterback spot in the next 2 seasons. This year, with Kirk Cousins on board, Pitts was expected to flourish again. Instead, he has caught just 8 passes for 105 yards through 4 games. Bryant, who has been very active talking about the NFL on Twitter/X over the years, was asked about Pitts by a user on the platform. He wrote that Pitts was being misused, and that a move to the Cowboys could change that for him. On Sunday, user at Mike_Lowry7 asked Bryant for his analysis on Pitts, writing, "At Des Bryant, please watch Pitts' tape and tell me if he is a great route runner and do he run through his routes, please, and be honest with your assessment." While Pitts has taken plenty of criticism for how he runs routes and his level of engagement during games, Bryant said he still has upside but was not being exploited by the Falcons. That's when Bryant responded that he'd like to see Pitts in Dallas. "It's hard to be great at anything if you are not featured. Atlanta is not the place for Kyle Pitts. He would be a dog in the Cowboys' offense and the Commanders' offense. It's hard to be great at anything if you are not featured. Atlanta is not the place for Kyle Pitts. It would be a good idea for former star Cowboys not to suggest transactions that would benefit the Commanders, of course, but Bryant's point is valid. Pitts belongs in an offense that can take better advantage of his skill set. If the Cowboys want to get hold of Pitts, though, it still would likely require a trade." Despite his struggles, in April of this year, the Falcons exercised their 5th-year option on Pitts for 2025, worth $10.5 million. In the wider picture, it is unlikely that the Cowboys would make a move for Pitts, not so much because they could not take advantage of his ability, but because they have plenty of needs on the roster, and tight end is not one of them. The Cowboys had a breakout star at the position last season, as Jake Ferguson established himself as a reliable target for Dak Prescott, catching 71 passes for 761 yards in his 2nd NFL season last year. Ferguson was named to the Pro Bowl for his efforts. Dallas also used a 2nd-round pick in 2023 on Luke Schoonmaker, out of Michigan. Schoonmaker played 17 games last season, but had quiet stats, recording 8 catches for 65 yards. This season, he has 7 catches for 48 yards. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Kyle Pitts? Leave your opinion in the comments.